Wilbur Soot spent years building an incredibly successful career, amassing over 6 million subscribers on YouTube, 4.7 million followers on Twitch, and a band that toured the world. However, after serious allegations surfaced, his entire empire would come crumbling down, as his audience not only would abandon him but also would become his new haters. William Patrick Spencer Gould, who we'll be referring to as Wilbur, was born on the 14th of September, 1996. Growing up in the beachside town of Brighton, England, he would be raised by his split parents, who divorced whilst he was in middle school. In 2008, at the age of 12, Wilbur would create his first YouTube channel named Setting66, alongside his childhood friend Ben, where they would upload typical content for 12-year-olds in 2008. According to Wilbur, they forgot the password and lost access to the channel, leaving it as a glimpse into his life whilst growing up. 3 years later, on the 18th of May 2011, Wilbur would create a new channel named Minecraft and Donuts. The channel was a collaboration with his friend Sophie, where they would upload regular Minecraft content up until 2013. When Wilbur would once again make a new channel, this time titled A Little Brit of Will. The channel would act as a hub for his short films and music videos. His passion for filmmaking and creating would further continue into his development, as he would go on to get a bachelor's degree in editing and post-production. By 2017, Wilbur would create his new channel named Wilbur Music in order to share his music covers.
Do nothing to substitute self-gratification. So a climax with a sigh.
Between the years 2017 and 2019, Wilbur would form a group known as the Soot House, which consisted of a variety of his friends who would make meme-based content. The channel would be a massive success, garnering over 283 million views and over 1 million subscribers. But despite this success, the channel would ultimately be abandoned, with the final upload being on the 29th of July 2019. However, during the Soot House era, he created his own personal channel named WilburSoot, where he would publish Minecraft content, with the first video being a collaboration with Jschlat titled Tiny Minecraft 25 Block Survival Challenge.
I need you to go in there.
Yeah, okay.
I need you to go in there.
It didn't even give me any time.
During 2019, PewDiePie would make Minecraft popular again with his incredibly viral Let's Play series that would gain millions of views on each and every episode.
Oh my god! Hey dog! I love you! Come back, I give more steak!
Wilbur's solo channel would initially continue his Minecraft content streak, but in April of 2020, he received an invitation to join a new private Minecraft server, the Dream SMP. This server, created by popular YouTubers Dream and George Notfound, would transform Wilbur's career. His natural charisma and storytelling abilities were a perfect fit for the server's unique concept of role-playing. The Dream SMP propelled Wilbur to fame that he'd never reached before, amassing millions of new subscribers as he seamlessly fit into the storyline and became a well-liked member of the server. Whilst riding off the high from the Dream SMP success, Wilbur Soot found his indie rock band, Lovejoy, in May of 2021, posting their debut EP, Are You All Right, just days after. It wouldn't be long before the band would gain millions of monthly listeners. Wilbur would spend the following 2 years touring the world and making festival appearances with his band. It's more than safe to say that at this point, Wilbur was on top of the world. He built a multi-million subscriber YouTube empire, created a successful world touring band, and was actively becoming a superstar in his own right. However, 2024 would be a turning point for Wilbur's reputation. Little did he know, serious accusations were about to be made against him. On the 21st of February 2024, creator Shelby Shubble would host a stream titled Talking About Something More Serious. Throughout the stream, Shelby would detail her negative experience with her unnamed British ex. She spent the stream educating her audience on early signs of dangerous relationships, wherein she revealed multiple details that led to the audience believing that she was talking about the beloved streamer, Wilbur Soot. She stated that during her relationship, her ex was extremely manipulative and would bite her aggressively. Shelby said that at the beginning, she didn't realize it was and would even cover for him by telling others that it was fine. However, as the biting went on, it would get to a point where he allegedly had to change locations in order to not bite the bruises and marks left from previous bites. At this point, her friends began to tell her that what was going on wasn't normal, and she would go on to learn that she was actually being abused in the relationship.
When I hear about physical, I think of hitting. I think of hitting and punching. So I thought that this wasn't violent enough to be. I thought that it was just like a constant accident that he kept hurting me. But he's not hitting me. And it didn't start as something that he did to hurt me. He had this habit of biting, which is so weird to me now, but he said that he had had this habit since he was a kid, and even his mom said that that was true. And he said it was just affectionate, and that might have been, I mean, I think that might have been true maybe at the start, but I also feel that I have good reason to believe that every part of it was a lie, but that's just my personal opinion. And I had no problem with just biting. That isn't even the most uncommon thing. But he did mention something early that I should have taken as a red flag. And he wanted to make sure that I was okay with him biting me because he didn't want me to come back later and say that he me, which I thought was really weird considering he had never hurt me before. And so why would I call it? And why was he thinking about that? And I thought he was being sweet, checking on me to make sure that I was still comfortable. But of course I was, because he hadn't hurt me. And why would I think he ever would?
According to Shelby, the pair eventually started using a safe word for her to say when Wilbur's biting tendencies got too painful. However, despite that, in the final months of their relationship, he would allegedly always bite to the point where she was forced to say it.
He had, now at this point, weaponized the safe word and was using it to ensure that I was hurt and on a constant basis. And he wasn't sorry anymore. I couldn't even tell you the last time he had apologized for doing it anymore, because now sometimes he would bite me and I would yell out the safe word because it hurt so bad, and he'd clamp down even harder. And just for a second, just for good measure, before letting go. And sometimes I'd say the safe word and he'd grind his teeth down on my skin. And sometimes he'd smile after. Like a gloating grin. And during this time, I was filled with so much anxiety all the time that I was constantly nauseous.
To make matters worse, Shelby also claimed he would joke about it looking like he used her.
Would even joke that it looked like he used me. And eventually he did acknowledge how bad it looked that I was covered in bruises all the time. So he stopped biting my arms as often, and he started biting my legs instead. And it was in the last couple of months of the relationship that every time he bit me, it was until I needed to use this safe word. It had become his benchmark for when to stop. Only once I was definitely hurt, which meant I was being hurt every single day, multiple times a day, for all of the days that we spent together in person. And when I asked him to stop again, this time he said, "This is who he is. He isn't going to change." Those were his words.
Following the stream, viewers would start investigating who this abusive ex could possibly be. And with various details lining up, it was quickly becoming evident that she was talking about Wilbur. Over the following week, many of Wilbur's fan base had turned against him. However, one post would make things a whole lot worse. On the 27th of February 2024, Wilbur Soot would make a tweet reading, "In the past week, a series of allegations have been made over my conduct from an ex-girlfriend, but I want to emphasize that although I feel it is fair to offer my perspective, this person's feelings are completely valid. I have taken my time sharing this statement, as I wanted to process and respond respectfully and with the hope of gaining a deeper understanding of the situation. During our relationship's final months, I regrettably became slobbish, disrespectful, and selfish. These actions caused a lot of pain to my ex-girlfriend, and I've since sought therapy to address these behaviors. The end. Making significant lifestyle changes to rectify my past actions. I've come to realize how much my past behavior hurt this person, but I truly, compassionately believe I've made great strides from the person I once was. and I hope I can continue to grow and improve on this trajectory. The allegation of a bee, particularly in the form of biting, deeply shocked me. Throughout our relationship, I understood from our numerous conversations and text message exchanges on the subject that this behavior was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. I truly believe those personal message exchanges reflect mutual affection and understanding. Out of respect for her, I choose not to publish them, and I emphasize my perspective is not shared to diminish or invalidate anyone's feelings. Instead, I share it in the hope that I can offer a genuine, full-fledged response. Fair and relevant insight into my understanding of the situation. While I may perceive our interactions differently, I recognize that this person has processed and expressed feelings of hurt. I want to extend my sincerest apologies for any pain that I caused. I am fully committed to understanding and addressing her concerns going forwards. I hope my perspective sheds light on the situation without detracting from its message. I am dedicated to earning and maintaining the trust of those around me, and hope I continue to be held to these high standards I wish to attain and maintain. Will. It's more than safe to say that the community was not impressed with Wilbur's response, with the main criticism being how much he focused on defending himself and stating that he has quote changed, and not enough on his alleged negative actions that brought him into the situation to begin with, as Wilbur specifically didn't admit to abusing her and instead said he had texts that made it seem mutually enjoyed, consensual, and playful. However, some of the responses were almost as controversial as the apology itself. Minecraft YouTuber Dream would receive criticism for responding to the situation by instantly taking Shovel's side and taking the moral high ground above Wilbur, with Lyrics tweeting, "Dream, the guy who was falsely accused of being a GNS just 2 months ago, is taking Shovel's side against Wilbur Soot and calling him an A with no evidence." On top of this, Dream conveniently posted proof that he had donated his last video's revenue to a charity for victims of assault, a move that was clearly PR and business-based, rather than a genuine display of proof. Lyrics' tweet would spark a discussion about accusations being used as evidence, as a community note on Wilbur's post would state Shovel's word as concrete evidence, despite Wilbur stating a different story. With another tweet from Lyrics reading, Wilbur's response to the allegations by saying everything was consensual based on his understanding got community notice, just because his ex said it wasn't. A woman's word is gospel and is taken as fact. Literally no screenshots, nothing. Just testimony got him community noted. Numbers don't lie. And by looking at Wilbur's social blade, it's evident that he's lost over 220,000 subscribers in the last 30 days alone. More subscribers than he gained throughout the entire previous year. Just as things seemed at an all-time low for Wilbur, they would get even worse. As of the 9th of March 2024, even more accusations would be targeted towards him. In a tweet from user Alice Naenya, she shared her experiences dating Wilbur back in 2019, reading, "Hello, I'm Alice. I dated Wilbur back in 2019, and I want to speak out about my experience. I felt like I couldn't talk about this sooner because I was scared of his public influence and the potential backlash from fans. But now after hearing Shelby's story, seeing the support she's been shown, and admiring her bravery, I finally feel safe to break from my silence on our relationship. Back in 2019, at the beginning of the relationship, I was immediately shown a lot of affection, very reminiscent of love bombing. One of his close friends at the time warned me in confidence to quote, "Be careful," unquote, as if they had seen people get hurt in the past, but I believed it was good inside. After a month, the honeymoon period was over, and it was like I was dating a completely different person. I was told to keep our relationship a secret but was framed in a way that implied it was for my safety, as if it was in my best interest to keep this secret despite my own feelings. I believe that he enjoyed having control in the relationship, or I would have to hide as he streamed and sit silently in the corner of his room waiting for him to go offline. He would say condescending things to me about my interests and the type of content I created, as if he didn't take it, or me, seriously, and would only be enthusiastic about his future plans with music and desire for fame. I never felt like he was encouraging towards me or any of my goals, and in the last few months he'd made me feel extremely unlovable and unwanted. I suffered with self-harm tendencies in 2019. He ignored the marks on my body and only took interest in retelling his own life struggles. I also experienced the biting habit, which has already been elaborated on by Shelby. After a while, I noticed that it was always me putting effort into the relationship, so I decided one day to not be.